And then the final story that I wanted to discuss here, Griffin, is this is like every now and then, not every now and then, basically every week you come across a story about ICE just
so
like
awful.
being absolutely satanic. And this is one example here. Nurul Amin Shah Alam, a nearly blind refugee from Burma who Border Patrol agents dropped off at a donut shop Thursday and left to find his way home 5 miles away, has been found dead. His family was not notified of his release. Police are investigating. So this is, I mean, we've seen like a number of examples of things this depraved, whether it's like tear gassing babies or running people over with your car and doing a hit and run or covering your face and committing murders in Minnesota, or literally there's evidence they lynched somebody in one of their concentration camps. I mean, this stuff never ends. And when you see stuff like this, to not take the abolish ICE position is just frankly inexcusable at this point. Like, if you're a Democrat and you're not saying abolish ICE, you just need to step aside and get out of politics because that's the only way forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. I mean, and also it's like you look at those warehouses, it's like those aren't just for the immigrants. Just to FYI.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's right. And SPM 7, they're coming after dissidents, anybody who disagrees with MAGA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do ICE watches in LA, so we go and we like have whistles and we're at like Home Depots, and it's like every day. It's crazy. And you know, it's kind of like unbelievable, and like all you can do is try to like get their name before they're like grabbed into a car. You know, you try to get their name and their date of birth, so you can have some info, so you can even find these people. Because a lot of the people go missing. So that's wild. And like to Crystal's point earlier, it's like a lot of the guys are like been there for like 10 years or something. Like didn't happen overnight. And I think like these guys need to be punished in a very severe way. Some people are saying death penalty. I haven't fully decided, but it's like the guys who killed like Alex Preddy and Renee Good, if you don't like do like a massive public punishing of these guys are like ready to come back. Like there's like a latent group of them in the country that are gonna do this all over again for Mr. Marco Rubio, and he's El Presidente. So it can't just be reforming. It has to be like fucking public punishments. Like it has to be wild. You know, it has to be like the Game of Thrones scene with Cersei for those guys.
Yeah, shame. Yeah.
I mean, I agree. Like, and it has to be not only them, but the people who gave the orders, you know, who set up the system. And it is stories like this that give me also confidence that there's not going to be any de-radicalizing anytime soon in opposition to it, because most people just see this and are like so utterly horrified that it's beyond belief. I mean, we were debating earlier, like being nice to robots. Like, I feel bad when I'm like mean to a clinker, you know, and you're treating a human being like this disabled man, you drop him off 5 miles from home with no ability for him to find his way home. He can't see anything. And then, of course, predictably, like anyone would predict, that him dying in that situation would be a possibility. So, of course, there should be some sort of penalty for that. And, you know, they obviously know what they're doing is horrible and evil and enjoys no public support, which is why they, you know, mask up and don't want to be identified. So, yeah, I mean, what do you say at a certain point? It's just so sickening. And people who think that this is only going to be about some certain undesirable population, like, they're fools. The whole reason this man, by the way, was set loose is because they had no way, like, he was here legally. You know, he had a legal claim. They couldn't arrest him. They couldn't deport him. And so rather than, oh my God, I'm sorry, sir, he gets dropped off and ultimately ends up dead.
Did you see the ICE whistleblower the other day who testified in front of Congress and was like, dude, they're telling me to instruct people to violate the Constitution. They're telling me to tell them that you don't need a warrant in order to go into somebody's house.
Right.
Like, here you have somebody who worked for ICE, who trained people, who said they completely revamped everything to specifically make it so they break the law on purpose. And like, what do you do with that? Like, what you do with that is, like you said, Griffin, you got to go in with a sledgehammer, bro. You got to make it so that this never, ever, 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 ever happens again. And whatever it takes,
draw a hard line.
Yeah, that's the number one litmus test for 2028 to me is like, you cannot do the Obama thing after George W. Bush and Dick Cheney, where we look forward, we don't look backwards. You have to do the, nah, bro, you're all going down. I mean, Jack Smith literally said we had Trump dead to rights. And Trump himself was allegedly saying behind the scenes to people in his cabinet that Jack Smith had him dead to rights, that he was going to go to prison, right? So here's a guy who knows that he committed a number of crimes, trying to steal the election, all the classified documents bullshit, and he's now running the country. And it's like, it's more of a cartel and a criminal regime than it is a government. I mean, the hundreds of millions of dollars that he stole from Venezuela, their oil, putting it in a private bank account in Qatar. This shit is so mobbed up and insane that if I told you 5 years ago this was going to happen, you'd be like, nah, even he wouldn't do that. That shit is crazy. They're doing it. It's all happening here. And I think the comparison of ICE to the Gestapo or to the Nazis, I just think it's appropriate at this point. I think it's kind of crazy to not acknowledge the parallels that are there.
Yeah, and, this is why we can't give up on cancel culture, because Trump has been put out of reach in terms of being able to actually prosecute him.
For now.
I mean, I think probably forever. Like, I don't have hope that we're going to be able to, given what the Supreme Court has done, going to be able to actually prosecute him and ever see him behind bars. So it needs to be like a massive amount of social shame and stigma and some sort of public, retribution against anyone who has anything to do with him, right? Post-presidency, like if he's still alive and kicking, if you go to Mar-a-Lago, like you should be treated like you're the Epstein class, because you are, right? You should be lose your job. You shouldn't be allowed in polite society. You should be ridiculed. People should be disgusted with you. Like there has to be some drawing of boundaries to put the society back together. There has to be whatever legal consequences that we can exact against the people that don't get pardoned by Trump on his way out and whatever. We've got to do that. And then we need massive social shame and stigma so that people know, like, these views are not acceptable. We're putting them back in the dustbin of history where they belonged.
Yeah, and something that's funny I thought about recently is like, the ICE guys are kind of acting like this because they like have this weird sense of online since Elon shifted like Twitter to be so rightoid that they think that more of the country's like with them, which is why I think that they like kind of walk around like desperados everywhere because they like go online and they see like Asmongold or like the epic MAGA based accounts like at the top of the feeds with a lot of engagement. And they go, oh, like the country's with us, so I'm gonna keep on like acting like a radical. But something I found funny that recently, Asmongold's audience is largely European. It's not even Americans.
Really?
Because all of the weird like rightoid, fasci, like European immigration debaters, they love watching this ICE America stuff. And like they love watching Asmongold go the based or whatever. And so I think it's so interesting that like the Elon really taking over Twitter was like a poison pill for the right because it completely reality distorted the culture. And I have young MAGA friends, like people my age and below that voted for Trump. And they're like, man, I don't want to see these like videos of like a woman in chains and stuff like that. Like I didn't vote for getting a woman pulled out of a car. I mean, these are apolitical people. They're not paying attention. They didn't like Kamala. Trump was kind of funny, those kind of guys. And they don't like it either. So it's like a very small percentage of the population that actually like jerks off to this stuff and they need to be punished.
Yeah. And the other way that I think it's distorted things for some of these ICE lunatics and CBP lunatics is, and Ken tells me this, Kulinski, they actually believe this shit about like some massive network of Antifa radicals that are constantly plotting domestic terror attacks and to overthrow the government. Like they actually believe that shit. And so like, if you think about these guys in Minneapolis who signed up for that, right? Most of them are from like South Texas. They've never seen snow before. They may not have like spent any real time in a city, certainly not like a really liberal city or a really diverse city the way that Minneapolis is. And so they're all hyped up, like believing that these just normal liberal protesters are hardened domestic terrorists. Like they actually, and that's what, again, they're being fed on social media and they're being fed from their president who they trust and believe and their icons like Stephen Miller, et cetera. And so that's like the way that they're viewing the world. And, so in that way, too, not only they feel like they're the good guys in this whole narrative, but they feel themselves to be under this intense threat and like really be being taken these wild risks with their lives every time they go outside.
That's key to fascism.
It's insane, right?
It's key to fascism, the notion that like we're under assault,
We're under
attack, we're the victim. Somehow you're like the perpetual victim as you're shoving people into literal concentration camps. But the contradictions never bothered them because they're not the brightest in the world anyway,
They're also like Latino a lot of the time, or like black. It's like these are DEI Nazis. Like the ICE is like ICE has gone full DEI. So I don't know.
Yeah, Border Patrol's like half people of color. Border Patrol.
Yeah.
Or at least it was. I don't know if that number is still true, but
I think it's a lot of Latino, you want the Spanish speakers and heavily recruiting from like the Texas border region and whatever.
It's the meme.
Like, what the fuck?
I know you've seen this meme. The Spanish looking guy talking to the Hispanic looking guy with the MAGA hat on saying like, we don't want your kind here.
Yeah.
Like, bro, that's you. Also like, Nick Fuentes. Like, bro, you're not on the team. No matter how much you try to think you're on the team, you're not on the team. Your last name is fucking Fuentes. He's also Catholic, which totally misses the point of, like, white supremacy, that it was based in Protestantism. You had to be a WASP in order to be in the club. And he's, like, a Mexican and a Catholic, and he's like, I'm going to lead the revolution. Like, bro, you would not be allowed in the room. You wouldn't be allowed in the room.
Yeah. He's not, as a real heritage American, I can tell you, he's not in the club.
That's right. Absolutely. And as a online gamer American, he's not in my club either.
That's right.
All right. Well, Griffin, thanks for joining us, man. You're awesome. I know you got anything you want to plug for everybody?
Yes, I do. I have started at the best time ever. I'm getting in the ground floor of a website called SUBSTACK. I am starting a Substack. I make a lot of like sketch and comedy videos, but they're kind of scattered over Instagram and YouTube. So I kind of wanted to put it in all one place for people. And I'm also starting something so necessary to the world, another podcast.
Let's go.
I expect an episode sometime Sunday or Monday to come out. I'm setting up a studio in my kitchen. It is a nightmare right now of cables and lights, but I'm very excited for what's coming. I would describe it as sort of, Candace Owens meets Joe Rogan meets like, AI, grind set, mindset, meets kind of like true crime, Red Scare. Definitely Megyn Kelly. So kind of like it's a great combination of all those things. And we're going to be investigating fraud every single week. So I'm excited for all that. It's a really important for you guys to go to the Substack and sign up if you so choose.
What's it called?
Which racial or minority group are you going to target first, Griffin?
That's what's so fun is I have a wheel and I spin it, and then it's whatever it is that week that it lands on.
Exciting.
What's the Substack called?
It's called Choom Room. I can send you guys the link.
Nice.
Guys, get in on the ground floor now. Watch some of the sketches. And yeah, let's get this going. Let's get some motion going. All right. And also, thank you guys for having me so much. You guys are both political heroes of mine. Wow. People I watch on the TV. And it is
Griffin produces Breaking Points, by the way. So
I think everybody does.
Yeah. I used to keep that hidden. It's too late now. Now people send me weird stuff online. So
that's why you got to start masking up like the ICE guys. You got to learn from them.
That's right. I'll be doing the podcast masked. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Crystal, Kyle, and friends. I love the show. Thank you for having me.
All right.
Appreciate you, man.
Thanks, Griffin.
Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now.